I just finished listening to Fable. It was really good. This also checks off reading a book by an author with a last name that starts with Y. So I'm happy to have knocked that off. Also, it was just a good book. It is part of a series, and there is like a reveal at the end that I didn't really get. I think it went over my head. So I don't know if it's something that I missed in the story that I would have understood if maybe I'd paid closer attention, or if it's something where we understand the character's reaction to it, but we don't actually know what's going on yet. So we'll find out in book two. But I think if you did like books like Daughter of the Pirate King, or if you liked my friend's book, The Lost Legends, I think that you would like this one because it does have like a pirate type deal, and it does have like a daughter of the well-known pirate dude that's kind of like, the king of the pirates. So, yeah, lots of similarities to the Daughter of the Pirate King, but also it stands on its own. Like, it's a completely different plot line. So I really enjoyed it. Also, if you like Six of Crows for some reason, I feel like you might like this. Um, because there is a sense of adventure with it. There's also some travel elements. So I just think, yeah, if you like any of those stories, you'll like this one. I don't really know what to say as far as the content of the book. It is kind of a setup book, if that makes sense. There's only a few events that happen during the story, but I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that. I feel like it's gearing up to be explosive. I don't think that this series is going to have the middle book syndrome because I think that it was an engaging setup that we got in book one, and then the rest of the series is going to be good. There's also a bit of romance that happens, which um, didn't necessarily have a lot of basis to it because you didn't see a ton of romantic interactions between the two characters before it was like full blown. So I would like to see more interactions, but there were a couple of details scattered here and there where I was like, okay. And also, ship, um, I always ship the girls with pirates, so I'm here for it either way. I didn't know if this one was really going to have any romance or not. I feel like it could have been fine without romance, which is something that I normally do not say. Normally, I'll say that a book wasn't good because it didn't have romance. Because I like to have multiple threads to kind of cling to when I'm reading stories that keep me engaged. And sometimes, if a book doesn't have a romance, but it also doesn't have enough threads, it just feels like romance would have added another thread to create some tension during the slow moments. But this one was very well done. Well done. So you could have took out the romance elements completely, and you still would have had a very solid fantasy story, and with a historical feel. She also has this special ability where she can like tell if gems are real or fake or what they are. So that's cool. It's like a coveted thing to have on a pirate ship. You know, if when you're trading stuff, if you're getting a fair deal, because you know if it's authentic or not. But also, the skill can get her into trouble because people wouldn't want a person like her to exist because they could ruin their businesses by exposing them as selling knockoffs or fraudulent jewels. So, yeah, that's kind of all that this book was about. And now I guess I'll get into more specifics about the story, but I would say I'll probably be rating it like a 4 star. Um, just because it is kind of a starter book. But I can see the potential of the rest of the series. I likely will continue on to the second book if that's out. I don't know when this book originally came out, but I likely will continue because I enjoyed it enough. But anyway, I'll get into a little specifics now. Okay, so this is where we get into specifics and some spoilery stuff. I don't really think any of this will spoil, but it is specifics, and some people don't want to know any specifics, and I don't know what I'm going to say because I don't script my videos. So there could be spoilers. So, spoiler alert. By the way, it's officially been 48 hours since I started. So I finished quite a few books in that time. So I'm pretty proud of that. I think I'm definitely going to meet my goal of 24 books by the end of the year. Okay, so the spoils. She wants to work for her dad, who is like this pirate king type dude. And so this boat that she spots that comes into shore, there's the captain of the boat, whose name is West, who winds up being her love interest. And they do have sex in the book. So it kind of escalated quickly because I didn't even know that they liked each other, and then they were just having sex. I was like, okay, like there was a little explanation, but I didn't know what was going on, and then it just happened, and I was like, okay. So I didn't really get the ooey gooeys because I didn't get I didn't have any emotional resonance with their romance yet, because it just went straight for it, and I was like, there was no build for me to connect to them as partners to each other. So I think book 2 might do a better job of that. Now that I know there is a romance, I can read into things more, maybe. I did like the sibling dynamics between West and his sister, who is his first mate, and they have not told the crew that she is his sister, because I guess when they were younger that would have been dangerous. He pretended like she was a stowaway so they wouldn't throw her overboard. And some stuff had happened to women where they came from that made it dangerous for her to stay there, but I can't remember exactly what had happened. And then, so yeah, they pick up the main girl, to go to see her dad to ask him if she'll let him be on the crew or whatever, or do her own ship. And he tells her no, but that he has left her an inheritance, which is the ship that he was on and she was on when she was a child with her mother, that sank to the bottom of the ocean. So it's got a lot of loot. And there's also a like pirate rival that doesn't like them, and he slashes the sails on Wes's ship, so you can't sail without the sails, and they're like identifiers as well. So then they have to find someone who's willing to create new sails and pay them basically all the money that they have. And because the girl trades this necklace that was her mother's to her dad so that he'll give her money. And then the dad comes and finds her later on, like right after she and Wes have had sex. He finds her, and then he's like, Wes isn't who you think he is. Which I think could mean maybe he's like a villain or something like that somehow. Because the last part of the book is her seeing somebody and she calls him a different name. So I don't know if it's a whole new character being introduced or if that person is Wes. But I don't know how you would pull that off, considering that Wes has a sister. And I don't think that she would also be lying about the identity. So I don't really know what's going on with that whole aspect. I was a little confused. But yeah, overall, it was an enjoyable book. I do think I will continue in the future because it is giving me Daughter of the Pirate King vibes. And I really did like that book. So I think I will enjoy the rest of this series. And it's very much so action and adventure based with a dash of romance. So the romance isn't really the main point at all. It's kind of just like a sideline thing. So I would like to see the romance build more so that I get the emotional connection between the characters, so that I care about the romance. Get all the ooey gooeys. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about Fable. So, yeah.